Hello, I just wanted to share some of the knowledge that I've picked up from playing with my gel plates with you. Hi everyone, it's Leigh here. Welcome back to another jelly print session for beginners. So I've done part one, which was showing you the absolute basics of how to pull a block colour, how to do a multicoloured or two-coloured pull print. I just went over using stencils just very quickly, just as a bit of an overview. And today I'd like to just expand a little bit more on some of the stuff that I did the other day in the first lesson, or the first video. And I hope you find that useful. So one thing I didn't tell you about was how to clean your stencil when you finish using it. Well, I really don't clean mine. I just try and get as much paint off them as possible. And I mean, you can use, like to get the grunge around the edge off, you can use packaging tape that'll pull it off. Just don't leave it on there for very long. Another thing that will clean your plate is baby oil. It'll also condition your plate at the same time. So you want your plate to feel sort of sticky but not tacky, or maybe it's the other way around, tacky but not sticky. So when you put your fingers on it, there's like it's holding onto your fingers a little bit. When you pull them away, there's nothing on your fingers. So that's the best condition to have your plate in. Another thing was storage. So this is how I store my plates, in these plastic boxes. And I just put a piece of paper on the front and the back of the plate. Generally I'll oil, like give my plates a bit of a coating in oil before I put them to bed in their little boxes. And I change the paper probably, I don't know, frequently anyway, so they're not sitting on the same piece of paper for any length of time. Sorry. Something I've done since I last did my video, where are they? I had a whole stack of paints that are in these tubs, and I find them really annoying to, you know, get the paint out. You've got to use a knife and so on and so forth. So I bought some sauce bottles online, and I just put my paints into these sauce bottles. So I had to put them into a plastic bag, like a sandwich bag, first seal them up and then snip off the corner and then poke the bag inside the bottle and squeeze it in, because they're not liquid paints. That's taken like a huge big storage area up before with these jars. Now they're just in bottles, and I've got all of my paints apart from a couple in those bottles. Alright, that's this particular brand of paints I'm talking about. Alright, today I want to show you how to do a registration. So I briefly mentioned a registration last time, and what registration does is it allows you to print something onto your paper and then print something else over the top of it, and to have them match up perfectly. And it's really simple to do. So firstly, I'll turn the plate around that way, I think. I've got a whole heap of mark making tools here. I don't know whether I'll use them all. I found another dragonfly when I was going through my bits and pieces, a smaller one. I've got a whole heap of circles and spirals, and I made these nautilus shells. I printed them off on my Cricut machine, and they look really nice. I've done a couple of pages with them on, so they work really well. And that's my first ever stencil. That one, and where's the other one gone? Hiding. Oh, it's in my hand. That one. I made them both on the same day, and they were the first stencils that I ever made, and it's just been made out of like you know, page protector. So yeah, so that was a really good stencil. I've used it, you know, quite a lot. And then I've got other bits and pieces, like these are all separate circles, they're just stuck together. I made this donut thing, made that. This one's been knocked around a bit, it's a bit wonky. I've got heaps of circles and spirals, or a spiral, I'm not sure where the rest of them are. But they make really good prints, got a spider web. So I'll be doing something with some of them on the print. Now some of these are just, well, these white ones, they're made from Yupo, which is a paper designed for alcohol inks. But this is just mixed media paper, and as were the dragonflies that I used in the last video. They're just made out of mixed media paper, but because they've got so much paint on them, they are fairly strong, but you do only have a limited life with these things. But they're fun to use, and you can make them any shape you want. I found a little fish there, so I've got donuts, circles and all sorts of things. So I'm going to just line up my paper. So this is how you do a registration of a print for a print. So basically what's going to happen is you're going to make something, you're going to pull it off, and then you're going to be able to make something else and put it on the same piece of paper. So it's just a matter of taping your paper down to your work surface. So I'm leaving this with, let's go, maybe about an inch on one end. So I'm going to tape that down to my desk. Okay, so I've just got it sitting straight on the desk now. So you can see how it just flips back. So you're coming back to exactly the same place on the plate every time. Okay, so I want to do, build up a couple of layers. Nothing too challenging for you, because I realise you are only just starting out, if you're watching this video. I've got my 4-inch brayer here. It's unbranded. I don't use any brand names because I can't afford them. It's a simple reason. And I got this set off Amazon. It had 3 brayers and this little baby one, and I thought, what's the use of that? But then I think, yeah, there's probably a lot you could do with that one. Anyway, so I've got them, and I'm just going to use the 4-inch one and get organised in a minute. Yeah, so I've got some brown paper, and I've got this from the other day. I love the runoff sheets. You can get some really nice stuff on the runoff sheets. And I'm going to turn the light on. So I'm going to try and work with some bluey greens and black, and then pull my prints with this colour here. Okay, so I've got a couple of metallic paints here. So these are semi-transparent. I'll put that there because it's blocking the light. This one is transparent, that one's opaque, so that'll be a good one for pulling the print with. So with this one, which is, it's called sketch paper, so it's a nondescript sort of grey, warm grey colour. And then I've got black, and I have some other colours on the side on my other desk if I should need them. So I'm going to be printing something here and then pulling it off, putting something else that's going to go over the top and pulling that off as well. So to start with, I just want to get a nice base colour on there. So I'm going to use this colour, which is called Tahiti, and I'm just going to, oops, be careful not to do that. Probably need a bit more. So in the first video that I did, I used a 5x7 or roughly 5x7 plate. This one is an 8x10. So I'll put out a bit more paint, and I'm just going to roll that out. So roll and lift, roll and lift, spread the paint around. You can go backwards and forwards, but you need to you get your best results if you take the brayer off the actual plate at the end of your roll. Now, if I had another colour on there and it wasn't mixing properly, I could mix it like that and then brayer out the mix marks. So, don't want to brayer it too much, otherwise it will take all the paint off. I'm just going to print that. And then we go, put a nice even coating on that piece of paper. I'm going to tilt the camera, I'll turn it off, but I'll tilt the camera a little bit to this direction so you can see more. Okay, so that's better. Now that's dry enough that I could print on top of that again already. So what I want to do is put something else on here that's going to be quite subtle sort of in the background. I've got a couple of stencils I made. So this one, how I made it was to draw that pattern onto a transparency. So that's like a piece of acetate or a transparent sheet. And I drew that pattern onto the transparency. I then scanned it, excuse me, scanned it into my computer. I used a program that takes out the background, so I could then put it into Cricut and cut it. So if I didn't take the background out, it was a square with that pattern on it. So by taking the background out, before I put it into the Cricut, it actually was just, you know, like when you have a PNG file. So no background, just the lines. Okay, so I'm going to put another colour over that. I might just use this one. It's quite dark, but it's transparent. And I'm just going to go straight over this. And I'm not going to put a lot of paint on there because I don't want it to be too dark on the plate. So it's beautiful sea green colour. So I'm just going to use the brayer and work it down inside the stencil so I get a good print. Okay, take it off, and that's what's going to go over the top of this green thing. Just pop that over there. So I bring my piece of paper back over and press it down. Give it a little bit of a rub. So those wrinkles mean that it's wet. And you can also tell by feeling the paper. There's a coolness to it. So if it's cool, the paper's still wet. That'll do. And there we have that one. And you can see how nice that looks. It's beautiful, and it's even picked up some of the colour that was on the plate. So it's virtually perfectly placed over the top of the other one. Alrighty, so something else that I could put on there is a similar sort of colour, but this is metallic. And what else have I got? I've also got this gold metallic. I might use this, I think, as my last layer. So this is a really nice colour. But what I would like to do is to put some of these bits of cardboard onto the plate to create some texture. So I'm just going to grab my other little plate and use it as it's a palette. So this is the little palette that I was using the other day when I did the first video in the series, and there's a link for that first video in my video description box. So I'm going to put some black paint on there. That's dry. And I'm going to press my bits of cardboard into the black paint. Just going to shake it down a little bit. It comes out nice and thin. I get a nice thin stream of paint from these bottles. It's really handy. Oops. I seem to have a bit of a wobble problem today. Please don't put a negative comment in the comment box about it. I'm aware of it. I'm working on it. Okay, so I'm going to push that in there. So we've got some black paint on there, and I'm just going to apply it to that plate. So where I haven't torn the paper off the cardboard, it puts a different mark on there. Different type of mark. So it's like, it's those solid pieces. So there's that one, that'll do for that. I might use this one. Oh, faithful, this one. Okay, now I hope I've got that in time. I'm going to see if I can get that to pull up. Might have dried a little bit too much. And if it has, I'll just pull it up with the gold. Got a little bit of it, not as much as I would have liked, but that doesn't matter. I might just put some more black on here. And lift out some of that with the cardboard. So I love this because it's got such an organic shape about it. I love the pattern that it makes. And I did this one where I was deliberate, really. I drew and then I carved it, like took the layer off, and I didn't realise that it actually looks a bit like a ship in a storm, like a yacht, a sailing boat with wind blowing behind it. It didn't have any ink. Okay, so I still need to maybe get a little bit more of that off. I know I said I was going to use the gold, but I'm thinking maybe not gold. That I might use that metallic green instead. Yeah, so I'm going to use this one. This is going to pick that up. Just get rid of the black off my brayer. I need to put some more paint on there, that's not enough. You know as soon as you start rolling if you haven't got enough paint. The brayer will start to stick to your plate. Okay, still rolling in the same way along the plate and off the edge. Okay, so I'm going to put that back on. leave that there for a while. And then with that black that's left on the plate, let's see if I can get that off. Just got some, it's like calligraphy paper, I guess. It might be a bit dry. Let's see if I can get it off. It's going to take some of it. It's a bit dry, but that's alright. It still made an interesting looking doodad there. So I'm just going to put a bit of that over the top and see if I can pull this off. And then I'll have a look at this one here. I really like this colour. When I saw it to begin with, I liked it, so I thought, oh yeah, I want some of that. But then when I got it, because I ordered it online, I didn't really like it that much. But now it really appeals to me. It's nice and grungy. Okay, so I need to leave that on there for a bit. I'm going to move that over to there and have this one. It's coming up, but it's not pulling everything off the plate. Might be a little bit too much black on that perhaps. It's still nice, still a worthwhile print, I think. Okay, so that's the first one. I'm going to put that aside to dry. Give you a closer look. So we've got that metallic paint on the top there. And now I wish that I had done the gold, but you know, I didn't. Just pop that there, and I'll set up the next piece of paper, which means doing battle with this piece of tape again. I won't use as much this time. I'll just put a couple of pieces on in the opposite direction. So this is copy paper that I'm working on. Okay, so my next, cut that bit out. Got my next piece of paper set up there. Yeah, I'm just going to put some of this down. And then I'm going to pull that off. So I'm barely skimming that plate with the brayer. So that goes down, smooth it, and I'm going to use a different stencil like this time. Just trying to think what to use. I might use the old trusty one. This one. That needs to stay on there for a bit longer. So I'm leaving this in real time because I want it to be obvious how long it takes for the paint to dry on the plate. So I think I put a bit too much paint on this one. But pull it off now. And that's quite an interesting print. It's picked up bits of the black, and now I'd like to put something warmer in there. And I've got this colour here, it's called Coral. It is opaque, so it should be alright because of the way that I'm printing. If I was doing a true mono print and I was building up something on the plate, this would have to be the last thing that I put on the plate, because when you do that, so basically you're building up a design on the plate, what goes on first is what you want to see on the top. So I'm going to pop them on, and then I might put a couple of these things here. And maybe a couple of circles. You got to work fairly quickly because your paint is drying by the second, and because you spread a thin layer down, it's going to dry even quicker. So I want to take some of that off. So I'm going to use a piece of it's similar to deli paper, but it's just we call it sandwich wrap in Australia. So it's very much like deli paper. So what I'm doing is getting the paint off that's not underneath. You know, what I'm going to be left with is those masks in the colour underneath. So I'm just going to pull that off. These will be used to make collage papers as well, so that can look quite nice. So that probably have something else put on top of it. And I'm going to pull them off, so I can't see much of it there. Hope it turns out okay. Might have needed a thicker layer of paint, but we'll see. And I'll lift that off. So you can always lift up and have a little sneaky peek to see what's happening, see where the paint is coming off. So that's very subtle. I hope it shows in the camera. It's there, I can see it, but I'm not sure whether you can or not. So what I'd like to do now is put a layer of gold on there. And I think I'm going to use the same stencils, but maybe not the brick one. So I want to put that and that. I'm just going to toss them on. That one. That's a whole heap that are just stuck together over each other. The spiral always looks nice. And a couple of circles. It's a broken circle. It can stay over there. Oh no, it's not, it's a spiral, so that can go on. Little circle, another little circle. Now I'm going to use that same piece of paper that I had before. And I'm going to lift that up, get the excess paint. And it looks pretty, doesn't it? It looks really nice. So I need to work pretty fast before that dries and get that onto the paper. So we're building up some layers on that, and you can see how gorgeous does that look now. And I think I want to put some more of that peachy colour on, but more of the paint this time. And what I think I'll do is to put the masks down first, and I'm going to put the paint on top of the masks. So yeah, you can see I'm really taking care with how I put them down. Just throw them on anywhere. So why not chuck a little dragonfly for good luck. That one hasn't been used very much. You can still see the pencil drawing. And I've got another one, this other small one that can go on there, like that. And then I'm going to put this paint over the top. And I'm going to be using a fair bit more than I was before. Make sure that it gets in right down inside those stencils. Might have put too much paint on, but it doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is just, with this piece of paper, is I'm just going to take a little bit of that paint off the top. Not too much, just a touch. Really lightly touching it. So there's another incidental print, so I need to get this off. I've got to be careful with the paper ones. This should be interesting. And I just had this thought, but I don't know whether I'll do it or not. And that was to let that dry on the plate and put gold over the top of it. Okay, so now these are going to separate. They were stuck together before. Here we go. Wow, did I really put all them on? You can see the pattern that's left there, that's really wet there. Well, I'm going to do it anyway. See what happens. And I'm hoping it doesn't obliterate all the gold, but I can put some gold back on if it does. So I'm just going to lift that off. Oh no, it's nice. See? That's lovely. And I've still got that left on the plate. So while that dries, I'm just going to pull this one off. So this is just the, let's pop that over here a bit. This is the leftover black paint that was on that little palette. Sometimes these leftover prints and the runoffs turn out to be the most interesting prints. So it hasn't got it all, but it's got most of it, and it's interesting. I like that. I reckon that'll look good with some gold over the top. I'm going to stick this on here. Move that away. Bring this one back in. Let's just see if I can pull that onto this. Too dry. Oh, a bit of it's come off on that. That looks quite nice. It's got a bit of the peach colour on there. Okay, so I just want to pull that now with something, and I want an opaque colour. What would look nice? I have got unbleached titanium, but it might be a bit anemic. Maybe just a mixture of gold and black. And it's getting dark here because I think we're going to get some rain before much longer. So I'll make this the last one that's not black. Here's the black. And then I'll just show you what we got. I'm just going to mix the gold first and spread out the gold. And I'm not worried if the gold gets in the black, but I didn't want the black in the gold. A little bit of it maybe, but not all of it. And I'm going to take another piece of paper. I'm not going to register this because I'm not going to do anything else on it. Still feels quite wet. While that's drying off, I'll show you what I'm talking about with the baby wipe. So a baby wipe will get that off. So you could either clean it off or you could just leave it on there for next time. It's going to leave a little bit of a stain anyway by the look of it. Okay, now I wonder if this, normally I would use packaging tape if I wanted to take those grungy bits off the edge there. I'm just going to see whether masking tape will work. That's not, oh, it's not going to stick, is it? Because it's wet. No, it's not going to stick. Silly idea. Actually, I don't think. I think it's not that it's wet. I think it's just that masking tape's not going to stick to a gel plate. Full stop. No. Must be because of what's in it. So there's actually oils and stuff in the plates. It's part of manufacturing. I'm going to pull this off now. So it's very dark in some places. There we go. That's pretty cool. So I might end up putting something else over the top of that. And you can see there's still paint on there. So I have this metallic colour here. I'm just going to put that on there. See if I can get it off. Probably had too much paint on it, I think. So that, see how you can see those ridges in the paint? That's generally a good indicator that there's too much paint. There's your plate is leaving those funny marks behind. So you do need a little bit of room to do this stuff because, as you can see, I've got things piling up around me. The more room you've got, the less chance there is that you'll have some sort of little mishap with your print or lose stuff. Okay. The more I look at this one, the more I love it actually. I think it's that contrast, it's just really beautiful. Got that shimmer of the gold. You can just see the coral colour underneath. Okay, so if you have any questions about what I've done today, or if you're wondering anything about how to go about your gel printing, just put it in the comments. And that's a strange looking print. That looks really weird. I'm wondering whether the paint has separated. Which one was it? This one? I know one of them. When I went to pour it out, it had separated, like it was liquid and paint instead of just liquid paint. Okay, I'm just going to see if I can get this to come off. I'll just do it onto here. Might have to sit for a while. Sometimes you gotta let them sit, you know, overnight. At times, love that. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Still leaving a lot behind. I'll just leave it on there for a bit longer. Alrighty, so what did we get? This was the first one I did. It's a bit dark, but it's still lovely. With the blues and bluey greens. And the black. There we go. There's that one. That's nice and it's subtle, but I think it needs a little bit more on it. And then the gold and the black one that I just did before, so that one looks really nice. That one was a bit weird, so that was just an attempt to clean the plate off, and I think there's something wrong with that paint. And then I've got these clean up ones that was just getting the excess paint off the plate, as was this one here, and I really love this. I reckon that's my favourite, that one, and the unplanned ones are my favourites. So this one and this one are the two that I like the best out of these ones. Which one was yours? Let me know. You know which one you like the best. Okay, so I hope that gives you an idea of how to do registration and how you can use your stencils. And see you shortly for another video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to share the video with your friends if you want to. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. So have fun playing with your new jelly plate if you've got a new one, or the one that you've dug out of the cupboard because you didn't know how to use it or you couldn't get it to work properly. And I'll see you for another video shortly. So take care. Hugs and cheers from Australia. Hooroo!